Good morning for those in United States and in the Western world. Um, it is the evening now of the 11th of September in Simandar City, India, and it's about 4:30 p.m. there. And pretty soon now the Gnani is going to start the second session of the Parayan of Aptavani 13, which is the second day evening, and we will be reading on Gnan in Swabhav and in Vibhav on page 27 of the Prakruti PDF, the Prakruti iBook, not the PDF, the Prakruti iBook, which is a 399 book in the iPad version or the iBook version. So the evening session of the 11th of September, Parayan, Aptavani 13 now, in Simandar City, second day of the Parayan during the Paryushan of 2015. Paryushan, special 8-day period in India where people gather in large groups, especially in Gujarat and where they join people, faith people are, to look at their own mistakes in life, in interaction with others, and to do the relative pratikramans according to the prescription in the scriptures. However, here in Akram Vignan, and we use this particular time to understand the science of the self and also of the non-self, and for any mistakes that happen through the interactive science of the non-self, we ask for pratikraman to be done by the ego that is separated from the soul. So we've already had 3 samayiks. Last night's samayik was a beautiful. Last night means this morning samayik of September 11th was a samayik on the word asar, or the effect in the relative that happens at the relative level within the Prakruti, effect in the Prakruti, and to look at the beginning effects that happen in the Prakruti and to remain separate from it through the knowledge of the self by looking at those incidents where the effects resulted in a variety of chain reactions causing kashais and further hurt to others because in discharge one became identified with the relative, one became tanmayakar, one became absorbed with the relative. As we see the car of the Gnani coming over and people lined up along the Dada Darshan site, wherever they're sitting, they just move over there to the left. So where the Gnani's car is heading, that's where the stage is, and these are all, and it will turn left now all to the entrance behind this Dada Nagar Hall, the city of Dada, as we see a few security guards in grey as the Gnani goes straight in. The little car goes inside, the Gnani will come out and move on to the stage now. As Mahatmas are waiting, Gnani climbing up the steps to the stage. Beautiful stage has been made with images. As the Gnani approaches Lord Simandar, Namo Arihantanam, I bow to the one who has become absolutely free from any internal enemies of anger, pride, deceit, greed. Namo Vitragai, and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai, Lord Krishna, Gnani, Lord Krishna, O my Lord, our highest namaskars to you in the presence of our Gnani and Pujya Dadashri and Pujya Niruma and Pujya Deepak Bhai and Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva, the embodiment of salvation, to all of them I bow, and to our Gnani Purush Dadashri, Namo Arihantanam. And we move, as he moves to the left side of the stage where past the Aptavani 13 pictures is the celestial, is Ma Amba, the one who represents the energy that makes the non-self complex Sahaj, makes the Prakruti Sahaj. She is going to be worshipped a lot because she makes the non-self complex Sahaj, Ma Amba, and Ma Niruma. Hi, namaskars to Niruma, who has made this Aptavani 13 available to the world in July of 2002. And to Ma Padmavati Devi, the celestial energy being that is make sure that all living beings on the path of liberation get due protection. As Gnani now turns in the evening of this 11th day of September, looking at all the Mahatmas in 6 rows in front of him. We only see 3 rows. There are 2 more rows to the right and 2 more rows to the left. And all the center forward people in white are is a special place that is reserved for Aptaputras and Aptaputris and Aptakumars and Aptakumaris, those who have dedicated their entire life to the cause of Jagat Kalyan and have decided not to marry and have exclusively devoted all their energies to this path of Akram Vignan under the Gnani Pujya Deepak Bhai. So everybody is requested. As we continue to hear Dada Bhagwan sing Jai Jaikar Ho, boundless glory to the eternal one within every living being of this universe, Dada Bhagwan, the eternal one, the absolute one, within every life that lives. So that is the eternal elemental form, Dada Bhagwan, and boundless glory to that one within all, especially within all human beings that we interact, and subsequently all living beings of all other species. And as we see our Gnani and do his darshan as he is ready to now take on Aptavani 13 further. Jai Sachidanand. I bow to the Absolute Self, the Paramatma who resides within you with infinite devotion and deep sense of oneness. Jai Sachidanand. This is now, we're going to go on page 3. Everybody had the Samaik yesterday on the Asar or the effect, the Prakruti. Everybody, did the Samaik happen? Let us now read further. This is on page 3 of Aptavani 13, volume 1. It is, there's nothing that happens to the soul. It is in this, in the relative knowledge, there is illusion that arises, and therefore the seer has never become soiled. The view of the seer, the original seer, the Atma has not become wrong, but because he entered into the relative matter element is such that it sticks onto him, and therefore, therefore he becomes the relative, because of the energy and the nature of the subatomic particles in the relative, and therefore once with a self-realization he realizes that I am this, I am the pure soul, I am not this non-self relative complex. And this is a very beautiful thing. Now it is Jai Sachidanand, lady reading in the evening, Gnan, Gnan in Swabhav and in Vibhav. Purush and Prakruti are not linked together, they are in a proximity with each other, and because of the view of proximity, illusion arises in the Gnan knowledge of the self, the small SCLF. This is because Purush by nature is knowledge or Gnanmay, and the illusion, Vibramta, is who did this? Then he will say, I did it. But actually, all this is done by Prakruti. However, as the Gnan knowledge changes, Prakruti arises, and when the Gnan comes into the self as Swabhav, Prakruti gets destroyed. Currently, this Gnan is in extra view intent, Vishesh Bhav, and when it comes in the natural view as the self, then the Prakruti gets destroyed. You see, the gold is gold, the bar of gold is gold, but under pressure it gets become a plate or it becomes a piece of jewelry. Because of its quality of malleability, then it comes into the situation or into the relative state, avastha, and its original state has not changed. And because it does not know that it is gold, it says, oh, I have become a gold plate, or I have become a gold bangle, or a gold necklace. And that is Vishesh Gnan, or extra knowledge, or extra intent knowledge, and it is the knowledge when that's is. And when it comes into its own self, Swabhavik, then the Prakriti gets destroyed or gets dissolved, the non-self complex. When two eternal things, elements come together, Vishesh Bhav arises together in both. In both. I said this the knowledge of the soul becomes vibhavik as well as and also and then on the and therefore the ego and the intellect arise, and in the matter also, and flesh, blood, bones, etc., the senses, all of these things that we are used to know about bodies arise, you see. And so an amazing structure arises with a combination of the ego intellect complex as well as the body complex, you see. But it is just due to the presence of the self energy, Chetan, that all of this happens, because it has lost its real awareness of who it is. But amongst this, both maintain their individual attributes or gundharma, but additional attributes arise among the six original eternal elements when matter, jad, and self, Chetan, C capital, come in close proximity. Then Vishesh Bhav arises, and the other four elements, no matter where and how, when they come into close proximity with each other, there is no effect at all. The other four elements are space, time, motion energy, and inertia energy. You see, we give the example of the laborer, but he sees his owner, the bricklayer, making easy money, and just by laying bricks, and therefore he finishes this current life as a laborer, but he charges a new life as a new cause, vibhav, new cause, as wants to become a bricklayer. He becomes a bricklayer. Now in the next life he wants to become a contractor, because he is tired of laying bricks and he wants to become a building contractor. This is how it works, life after life. Atma Gnana, the knowledge of the self, is the only one where subatomic particles are not attracted. They cannot create new karma. Otherwise, in the reality, he wants to become a special musician, a music conductor, a doctor, a scientist, or a CEO of a company, etc. And so, because on the basis of the bhaav, the view, all the other things come in. You see, so now avastu and avastu. You see, when we say he's asking, when you talk about in the presence of the sea, the ocean, the iron rusts. Vastu means it implies to the S capital self, the soul, whereas avastu means that which is the non-self. And then the non-self issues, avastu means that which is not belonging to the self, the soul. So bhavik vastu, the of the soul, are called vastu or a thing, whereas avastu means that which does not belong to the soul at all. You see, and vibhav avastu, etc. And avastu means Prakruti. And avastu at the causal level is called the Karan Prakruti or the causal Prakruti, and at the effect level is called the effective Prakruti or the discharging Prakruti. Yes. You see, it goes there, how it goes into the Prakriti, however, behind that there is the energy of the self that goes in. When you make a tea, there is the knowledge of how to make the tea is working, and that is actually the original knowledge of the soul only is the underlying. And then the activity of making the tea happens because there is the presence of the soul that is there in the person who is making the tea, and then there is the space of the time, there is the timing of the making the tea, and then there is the motion and the inertia, and then there is the elements that all the physical elements that make up the preparation of the tea, and then there is the knower of the one who makes the tea, which is called the self, the soul, and that is how all six elements come together and a cup of tea is made. And it is all discharging as a relative. The Prakruti has already been made. The tea maker rose on the basis of the causal body in the last life, and therefore in this life is making a cup of tea, but it is all part of the discharging Prakruti. In the same way, if this, you see, it's not varad. You see, take the exact thing. It is not the steam, but it is actually, there is the salty air, is and that's the piece of steel is the soul, and then there is the ocean air, and then there is the ocean air, and, and then rust happens, and that is the Prakruti. That is the Prakruti means when when it is discharging, all the subatomic particles again get discharged and they become pure again. And when they are attracted to the Prakriti in the causal level, in ignorance, then the subatomic particles which were pure come into the mixture form. So, and it becomes mixed subatomic particles and called Mishrasa. And then once the knowledge of the self happens, when the right belief arises, then nothing new enters, no new subatomic particles enter, and I'm the pure knower of everything that is in front of me, which is the non-self complex, the Prakriti. And he might even say that I am Shuddha, I am over, I am Unisa. However, he is not in it, he is aware of this thing, but nothing new is charging, you see. And so that is the Vishrasa Nirjara, that is the discharging of the subatomic particles which come under their original state, which is called purity of the original particles. Now, the one who believes that I am the stage, you see, the stage does not change. However, because it believes that I am the stage, then the one with the belief complex is the anger, pride, deceit, and greed, and this is the Prakruti. You see, this is, and therefore, at the causal level, and then when can we say that the discharge is complete? He is saying, the questioner is saying, but if you believe that it is happening to me, then it remains pending. When the person is the absolute soul only. However, he believes that he is the Prakriti, and therefore this problem arises. Actually, it doesn't end with I'm pure soul, but also it's who is doing it. The awareness of who is doing it, the exact awareness of the doer, is needed as the second part of the equation to have the complete understanding and freedom from this ongoing discharge. It is not enough just to know Ayosama Pura. You also need to know the exact precise science of the doer, the scientific circumstantial evidences, and then you become free from the discharging complex. You see? You see, it is the same example of the mirror. That the mirror is absolutely so reflecting that it does not know that it's the mirror. The soul is the mirror, and whatever is reflected in the mirror, it believes that this is who I am. So if you see Eunice in front of you, then instead of saying that I am the reflector of this Eunice that is in front of me, you believe that I am Eunice. You see, because all you see is Eunice in front of you, but you don't see the mirror that you are, and that is why there is a problem. Now now and our willful attitude and approach to life does not work, because 10 out 8 out of 10 times we recognize that it does not happen according to our plans and our wills, and that therefore there is some other energy that is doing it. 2 out of the 10 times it may happen according to our plans and our will. So therefore, but then then finally gave the exact understanding that it is the scientific circumstantial evidences that is the doer, you see. And it is that is what is doing the work of the Prakruti is the beginning and the end. No, it's not for Prakruti. It is for the one who believes I am living and I am existing. There is a beginning and then there is the end. Because it's the it's, that in front of the ocean the clouds form and the rain comes, and again it goes into the ocean, and then again the clouds form, and so this cycle continues at an infinite level. And that is called, there is no beginning and no end to this cycle of what happens in the relative level. However, sa adi and sa ant, and then sadi anant means, and after, and once one becomes the absolute self, then there is, until once from the point of absolute knowledge, then there is, and nirvana, there is eternity only and nothing else. And then what is vibhav? Now this young man is going to the definitions of what has already been covered. The Aptaputras have been given the freedom to ask the questions and interrupt the Gnani whenever they want to. Or the Aptaputris also, the ladies, invites, and however, this freedom is not given to any other Mahatmas in front of the Gnani there. Okay, all right. This has been going on at the. So that is why yesterday we only covered only 3 pages. Uh, Vibranta, you see, Vibranta is the illusion. You see, the illusion arises, who did this? Because there is a suspicion, and therefore, not knowing who he really is, therefore, he believes, I did it, and that is, and actually, it is all done by the Prakruti, that which arose and is discharging in front of him. However, he believes I am doing it. The Prakruti that was charged in the last life is discharging in this life. You see, there is. I still am under the pressure of circumstances, whatever may be the pressure of circumstances. But what is your belief? Are you the pure soul or are you Sanjay? If you are pure soul, well, then there is no pressure of circumstance on you. Will you not? But even though you're pure soul, would you not know that I am from Kutch? I am Kutchi. Kutch is the portion of Gujarat which is west of Ahmedabad. And that is, his belief is still kind of. And now, but that actually I'm pure soul, and the one who is the Kutchi that is known as Sanjay Shah is the relative one in front of me. That's all. Oh. Is this a Kutchi doctor? I like him. Bring the Kutchi doctor over here. I like him. You see? And so he has not forgotten that he is Kutchi, but whenever the Kutchi doctor appears in front of him, he prefers a Kutchi doctor as opposed to an Ahmedabadi doctor, etc. A doctor from Ahmedabad. With the other 4 elements, nothing happens to that, which is space, time, in motion, and inertia. Nothing happens to this because they are pure vitrag. The Gnani has said, Gnani Purush Dadashri, that is the elemental science, the Tattva science. This is the science of subatomic particles. You see, only the subatomic particles are changing. There is nothing else changing. Only the subatomic particles are changing. The soul does not change. The subatomic particles change. And through Vibhav, through Vibhav, the I am Chandu. You see, the subatomic particles get attracted, they get charged, and then they give the result as I am Chandu in the current life, in the next life, you see. And it is all space dependent. Wherever it goes, on the basis of the space, that on the subatomic particle, then time is per, at the location, then that is associated with time, and then the subatomic particles come. You see, then when it moves, then it is called the motion energy, and then when it stabilizes, it is called the inertia energy. So all of these five eternal elements are happening in the relative non-self complex, and they get charged. The five eternal elements get charged and they get discharged, you see. And the soul is the just pure knower of all of this, nothing else. It is not, it is vitrag. Vitrag means it is, where the subatomic particles arise, and then at the level of the different time, space, and it gives the result, but it is not concerned with the result. Kurukshetra means there is fight, and then Mahavidya Kshetra is, wherever you are, that location gives its own effects. Kurukshetra is which was a battlefield in the Gita, and the effects do not give directly, but it goes Vibhav. At this location there is this particular energy, at this location as the time changes there is this location energy, this is this space, you see. The location is very important. Now location means at that which carries one unit of time, that is called location, space, and then other cell elements come together. So subatomic particle, that which occupies one subatomic particle, is called space. You see, the moment you believe that I am, the moment you say I am this chair, and instead of, you see, to believe that I am this, that is the deception, that is the illusion, is it not? You are not this body complex, but you believe that I am this body complex, and therefore the illusion arises, and that is the deception. So krodh, man, maya, lobh, there is anger, pride, deceit, and greed. And that is, deceit is the maya or the illusion at the first level, and subsequently there is the relative deceit. But the original deceit is to forget who you are, that you are the pure soul, but you believe I am Eunice, I am Thais, you see. And so the deception is already in operation the moment you forget that you are the pure soul, and therefore you behave as Uwe or behave as Nada or as Katya, you see. So it's interference means you enter into, what is interference? Dakho. Dakho means to enter into the non-self territory, non-self space only. Dakho. I am the pure soul, however, I believe that I am Shuddha, therefore I am in interference, you see. I see. So these are all definitions being revised so far in this Q&A, nothing else. Let's go. When two eternal, again it's the same question, when two eternal elements come together, a third thing arises. Nothing. Purush is with the knowledge, the self is with the knowledge, but there is a disturbance, an illusion that arises in his knowledge. Who is doing it, you see? You see? Yes. When the car is stopped and when it's raining, the raindrops come down. But when the car is speeding, then the raindrops tend to rise up. What is happening? Well, you see, it is the relative that is moving. The seer inside the car knows that, you see, the raindrops are not rising when the car is speeding. This is how it is, you see. You see, when you are singing, you think you are singing, but it is your vocal cords that are moving, right? Are you singing? Are you ever a singer? No, the vocal cords are singing. Oh, but someday you can't sing. Oh, your voice doesn't come out. Were you the singer on the day when the voice did not come out? So are you the singer, or the relative Prakruti that is singing? You see, But if there is some junk kind of stuck on your vocal cords, then the good voice will not come out, and therefore he will clear his throat. You will not be able to clear throat. You see, it is actually the air moving between your vocal cords there that creates the sound and creates a good note, and therefore, but you have the knowledge of what melody to sing, in how to sing it, in what rhythm to sing it, in what spatial time to sing it, and therefore with what enunciation and pronunciation to sing the words, and therefore the song will come out. But you have only the knowledge of how to sing it, but whether or not the song will be delivered properly depends on the Prakruti and scientific we call it scientific circumstantial evidences after Gnan, whereas before Gnan it is the Prakruti that is singing, but he believes I'm singing. I could not sing properly because the other person was disturbing me, etc., etc. You see, he gets the effect because he believes that I'm singing. If he knows that it is the Prakruti that is singing, the non-self complex that is singing, then he is free. Whether the song was delivered well or was not delivered well, it's fine. Whether Tony Andrade moves his fingers properly on the piano or not, it is all belonging to the Prakruti of Tony. It's not, you are not moving those fingers. But you see, the Chetan, the knowledge, the owner believes, oh, this is happening to me because there is vibramata. The illusion takes over in his knowledge. Who did this? Who is doing this? Not knowing who is doing it, he says, aha, I'm doing it. See how? And to come. When circumstances come together, the circumstances are coming together, but the circumstances of the five eternal elements are coming together and dissipating, but he believes that I am walking. You see, actually the motion energy is happening, the inertia is happening, the matter energy, the body energy is working, the legs are working, the brain is sending the signals to walk, etc. And the ground is supporting it, but then therefore the walking is happening, but he believes I am walking. I came here, you see. All right. He said marble gets hot in the presence of the sun. In that, the original owner, the marble, believes that it is in the marble's nature to be hot, and that is how this extra result, Vishesh Pariminam, is. The original owner, you see, you know, if he has laid down a whole bunch of stones of marble, and if he walks, then in the afternoon, the marble gets very hot in the sun. Then he says, these are hot stones. Here the original owner actually believes, the original owner is the owner of the marble here, you see. The original owner is the owner of the marble here, you see. Just make the correction in the PDF. This will end when the sun sets. Marble stones are cold by nature. Similarly, Vishesh Parinam, the extra result, results due to the proximity of the soul as capital self Atma and the Pudgal, the matter, which gives rise to ego. What was a natural Pudgal, matter, does not remain natural anymore because the ego arose. You see, and therefore the physical complex arises with the flesh and bones, you see, which by two things coming together, their individual nature, property do not change, but a third, Vishesh bhaav, extra intent, extra attribute, extra view arises in the ignorant state. Just as when you place a book in front of the mirror, the book does not lose its nature. So then does the mirror lose its nature? No, the mirror is in its nature. But when you go in front of it, it will also show you its own nature too. It will also, will it not? So it will also show you the Vishesh bhaav, and this is a very subtle thing. Scientists will understand this very quickly. Vishesh bhaav has arisen, you see. So when you see Eunice in front of the mirror that you are, the pure soul, that is the extra view that arises, you see, that is the Vishesh bhaav. And then you believe, oh, I am Eunice, you see. And so this, your Prakruti of Eunice that is in front of you, is actually, that is the being reflected in the mirror of the self that you are, absolute mirror. However, you believe that I am this Prakruti, I am Eunice, and therefore that is the Vishesh bhaav, you see. This is the extra view that has arisen, the extra view. But also, it also reflects its own state that I am the mirror, I am absolutely pure, I am absolute energy, absolute vision, absolute knowledge, etc. And it is in my pure eternal element, this is all, the Prakruti of Eunice is being reflected, that is all, nothing else is happening, you see. So then the subatomic particles remain pure after discharging. What is this Vishesh bhaav? How does Prakruti arise on its own? I have seen all that. I'm telling all this after seeing it as capital. How does this happen? It is because of the close proximity of the two, by the two coming into touch with each other. The current state of the S capital self is because of these two with the same samipya bhav, with that which arises in due to proximity. You see? In the Gnanvedi, it separates with conviction. With conviction, you are 100% separate that I am pure soul. And then that must remain in all situations, and that is the experience of the soul, you see. Now somebody is asking, what is, what, he says, what gets spoiled in Vishesh Bhav? His own vision of the soul gets disturbed. He says, instead of saying, I am pure soul, he says, I am Eunice, I am Brunella, I am. And so he is he is a laborer, but when he comes in front of a bricklayer, he wants to become a bricklayer because it is easier work and more money, you see. And so, but you see, and then he becomes, then he in the next line, and it's so then when he comes into the soul, then he comes to the experience of the soul, and then from the experience of the soul, he becomes a pure knower and seer the Gnana. Extrinsic vyatirik attributes arise and Pudgal. You see? Yes. And so the view, this Vishesh Bhav, the extra view, arises in the worldly interacting self. It does not arise into the original mirror, the absolute mood Atma, M-U-D-A Atma, the original self. You see, the worldly interacting soul is the one that enters into the illusion. You see, but so you see, we are not the. We are talking when the Gnani talks about the mirror, and so the soul means the mirror. It shows its own nature as well as it reflects the non-self. You see, it is. But in that knowledge, that knowledge has become disturbed. You see, the gold has got the malleability, purity, etc. You see, however, the gold is malleable, and you see, and there the malleable quality of the gold comes under pressure, and therefore it turns into a bangle or a jewelry or a piece of plate. You see, if there's and the mirror is a simile. You are the mirror, the absolute mirror, the final mirror. But then that which is reflected in front of you, that is the worldly interacting self, you see. And within, the one that never loses his space and simply continues to be the knower and seer is absolute. It is the pure mirror of the self only, no? The worldly interaction self, she is asking, is just a belief only. Yes, it is only on basis of belief only. Vyavaratma means the one that is interacting in the world only. It comes into the world, you see. But in Nishchay, as the self as capital, it is the pure soul only, you see. Extrinsic or Vyatirik attributes arose when Pudgal, matter and Chetan came together, and from that view, intent, bhaav arises, you see. And based on that bhaav, Prakruti continues to be formed. Whatever bhaav view, I want to become an engineer, I want to get married, I want to have a woman who looks like this, etc. You see, and those intents get charged, and then when it's ready to give discharge, it comes as a physical body complex with these kind of Prakriti, you see. And you see, and so Deepak Bhai is reading in advance, it remains separate, but this one does the bhav here, and corresponding to that bhav, a body complex with form, putadu, is being created. After being formed, created through bhav, it remains in its nature. When it comes young and then becomes young and then grows old. For everyone at first, it is such that it is liked, Prakruti, and then it goes into its nature. One does not like it when it becomes old. Prakruti is formed with the bhav, view, intent and outlook according to what your current bhav are. If one had a desire to be a sansari, live in the life as a man and a woman, he will meet a woman, and more. He will meet with all the circumstances. When bhaav, whatever bhaav one does, Vishesh bhaav, that is how this Pudgal Prakruti becomes. Pudgal. Such attribute is in the Pudgal. In this current life, whatever we come across in front of us through the mind, speech and body and its experiences, you see, through the five senses, all of that is the result of our view in a previous life at the causal body level. You see, and this is exactly acquired as it was in the last life. You see, and then and then and there is a constant changing. You know, the black hair becomes the white hair, and then you lose the white hair too. You see, so the Pudgal is constantly, after getting charged, it goes into its original nature of the Prakruti, and then it cannot be changed. It continues to give its effect. You see, and so it goes through youth, old, middle, adult, and old age with all its discharging traits. You see. Supposing you have water in it, when you try to pour water, then it will spread all over on the floor. And you see, if you pour it on a plate, it will go in a different way. If you pour it on a slab of stone, it will spread in a different. You're doing the activity is the same, but on how it is. So depending on anger, pride, deceit, and greed, depending on the intent and the view with which it was charged, you know, it will correspondingly receive it. And then the subatomic particles get ready at the causal Prakruti level, and it gives it its effect. So the effect will be in exact correspondence and synchrony as the causes that were laid. You see, and then it will discharge and go away. Gunas, attributes of Prakriti, are of the non-self power and are not of the self. So people not self-realized consider attributes of the non-self as the attributes of the self, as capital. Not a single attribute of the Prakriti is in Shuddha Chetan, pure self, and not a single attribute of the Shuddha Chetan, the pure soul, is in Prakriti. As attributes, they are both separate in every way due to the intent view of close proximity, samipya about each other. You see, oneness, ekta has happened, and that is there. Nothing else has happened. They are separate right from the very beginning. Total wrong belief has set in indeed. When a Gnani Purush gives the right belief, the solution has come, has arrived. It is only a change in the vision only. Mistake is in the vision only. You see? You see, to hurt other people, to give to charity, to take away from people, to take, all of this is part of Prakriti only. To do the good or to the bad, to the hurtful activity and the helpful activity is all part of the discharging Prakriti only. And to believe that I am doing it is the vibhav. You see, it is the vibhav, it is the wrong view. And therefore a new Prakriti gets charged. You see, but when the Gnani Purush gives the Gnanvidhi, and that sentence, not a single Prakriti attribute to Prakriti is I, and not a single attribute to the I is in my, that is the Gnanvidhi sentence that we all speak in the Gnanvidhi. Now, and so with that, of course, there is a separation, and then nothing new happens. There's a new heading, way of bringing about the final settlement, Nivedo. What is this vision like? If you press one finger of yours on one of your eyes, then you will see two lights instead of one light, will you not? If only a little pressure comes on your eye, will you not see two lights? Now actually there is only one light, yet it appears as two. If you're drinking two, then there are many times one circle in a saucer appears like two circles. What is the reason for this? It is because there are two eyes, and the actual input of the visual information is distorted, and therefore everything looks double. These eyes see that too, and those inner eyes, the inner eyes, information processing site sees that too. But that is the mithya drashti, the wrong vision. Therefore, shows it wrong, all associated with the wrong belief, you see. If it shows the right, then the vision is right, associated with right belief, you see. Mithya drashti means the wrong vision, and samyak drashti means the right vision, you see. Samyak drashti will say that I am the pure soul, this is the non-self complex. Whereas mithya drashti, wrong vision, will say that I am this Prakriti that people identify as Unisi or as Marlusi, you see, or as Durao, you see. So now therefore, so with the right vision, then there is nothing new happens, you see. And with the right belief, then one becomes free from all pains that are externally induced or upadhi. Vitarag Vignan, the science of absolutism, is such that it can destroy all the pains, and the science is verily such that it can make one free from all the pains. And the science is verily such. Science is always that which brings forth action, activity. Therefore, after knowing this science, it will continue to work. You do not have to do anything. As long as you have to do anything, it is intellect in operation. And as long as there is intellect, the ego is there. And as long as there is ego, you will not be able to bring about a settlement, even if you want to. Settlement is otherwise known as nivedo, Nivedo. You're done with it. You see? And if you get insulted, supposing Eunice gets insulted by her friends in Brazil, all right? Now, you see, now if you, then then the vision prevails that who got insulted? Did I get insulted, or did Eunice get insulted? Did the Prakruti get insulted? Why did the Prakruti get insulted? That is part of scientific circumstantial evidences. Then when you understand who am I, who got insulted, I am the pure knower and seer only. This the insult is on the basis of the filled stock in a previous life of karma. And the more you understand this in exactness, and then you will become free from any asar or effect of the Prakruti. You see, you do not have to do anything. You do not have to do anything physically. You just need to understand who am I and who is the doer, and that's all. These are only two things, the two sentences need to be known. In the entire day, everything that is happening, you have to be in the awareness of who am I and who is doing this. Who am I and who is doing this? And then you will become absolutely from upadhi, which is all externally induced effects. External here means the mind, speech, and body here. Questioner, how does this vision begin? And the answer is change. The change of vision begins when one meets the Gnani Purush, and one's vision changes gradually as one listens to the Gnani Satsang. At this time, you are listening to this Satsang, your vision will change little at a time. Thus, as you become familiar to a certain extent, in a month or two, the vision changes. Or else, you should ask the Gnani Purush, sir, please grace me and change my vision. Then he can change it for you in a day and or two, or within an hour. He will, in a day or 1 hour, on some day he will, in 2 hours, you're in the Gnan Vidhi, it will change. Now, somebody is asking a question. When you did the Vidhi this morning, then you talk about tap or the penance. You see? When there are effects in the Prakruti that are hitting you, touching you, but to keep the Prakruti of Eunice separate from you, that means you enter into inner penance, you see? And you know, when you use your Prajna Shakti to settle the file with equanimity, then you will enter into the experience of the soul, you see? You will not enter into any kind of interferences. Then you will not interfere into Eunice, whatever is happening. You will not try to protect Eunice. You will not take the false commission. You will go. So when will we have the exact and clear description or experience of the pure soul, spasht anubhav? Then we will not kick a single file that comes in front of us. We will not react to a single file that comes in front of us. We will be in perfect equanimity, you see. And this state is available through the opportunity for entry into penance, by being aware of the equanimous state that we are, that who is the doer and who is this in front of me, and on what basis this happened. When we see the pure soul in the other person, and then we can see the Prakruti is separate, we can see his Mangat Das is separate, and we can see his pure soul separate. He is saying that he can see all of this. How can he see that? This is a question, you see? No. Deepak Bhai is smiling inside, looking down. It's not easy to do, but he doesn't want to cut down Sanjay by saying, you see. Is Prakruti Jad or Chetan? Questioner says, should one understand Prakruti as Jad, matter, inanimate, or Chetan, S capital? Dadashri says, there is absolutely no Chetan, S capital self, at all in the Prakriti. And the Chetan that is there, it is power Chetan, energized Chetan, and it's small c, note the small c in our translation of the Prakruti book. Okay. Questioner, is there only power Chetan in the Prakriti? Is it not completely Jad? Dadashri says, Prakriti is Jad. In other words, there is no knowing seeing capability in the Prakriti. Power has entered into that Jad, energy. And the time of charging, the power has entered, and when it is discharging, there is no power in it, you see. At the time of charging, it is called power Chetan. When it is discharging, it is called Nishchetan Chetan. There is no self in it at all. And you see, and then it is when it is giving its results, then it is just Prakruti only. Questioner, somebody is asking. When it results from vibhav, then it continues to play in its vibhav state of Prakruti only. Nobody has the view of dying. No. They do. When there is a lot of pain in the body, he says, it'll be better if I leave this body now, you see. Evidence is, the, when there is when the circumstance of the body, then the body will move away from you. Then this vibhav. At the time of vibhav, I am this body. There at the same time, there is the birth and death already being established at the causal level, you see. And when there are 200,000 karma, that when they finish, by the time and in the discharge, then when all the karma finish, then the body separates, you see, and the body dies. Then everybody else is a nimit only. And what happens is, the one binds the karma, and then the result comes as the effect. The one who is through vibhav, I'm this body, I'm Yunis, one binds the karma, and then it gives the result as an effect. And that is, so then there is initial effect, and then there is the effect of effect in the next slide, you see. And in the effect of effect, there is the disease, you see, there is the disease, etc. You see, through the desire, there is a seed of cause, karma, and then he gets the body, and then when the body gets diseased, it is the effect of effect, you see. It is actually the result of bhaav that I am this body is at the causal level, is it not? He says, somebody says, okay, come on, get the work done, even if it means you have to tell a lie. That means now you have entered into the wrong intent. And then, you see, so in the next life, you will get a Prakruti that will be actually getting its work done by telling lies. Now, that is the first karma effect. And then you will get caught and people will say, this person is a liar, this person is an outright liar. And that is the effect of effect. And if you are telling lies all your life and you do not get caught, that means it is due to your merit karma in operation. But if you tell a few lies in your early years of your business and you get caught, that means it is your merit karma in operation, you see. It is your sin karma in operation. Sin karma is an operation, you get caught, you see. But we do not know what is punya and what is pap, you see, what is merit karma and what is sin karma in operation, you see. What is the role of bhaav? What is the role of the view? You see, it is everything that happens is very deeply intense, sticky karma are caused by very deep, sticky intents. You see, I want it. This is how I want to have it. I will not let go of it. This is exactly how I want to have it. And therefore, it becomes very same. The stronger the intent, and the stronger the intent, then your punya, the merit karma, gets spent, and therefore you get the result according to your merit karma. You see, Dadashri says Hirabai, his wife, probably had the view, the bhaav in a previous life for children. So they had a son and a daughter. However, Dada, says the Gnani, I never wanted any children in my previous life, and therefore I ended up without any children, you see. Yes. And it was all on the receptacle of intellect. Read up Aptavani 6, you will know. You see, depending on your receptacle of intellect, depending upon how you see the relative world, you charge your new life. In other words, if you are a laborer, you see a bricklayer, you want to become a bricklayer. The bricklayer wants to become a contractor. The contractor wants to become a politician, etc. You see, so this is all progressively changing depending on the vision. So it is all on the view, the bhaav. You see. The questioner is asking, is now Prakruti, you called it Jad. Does movement in it occur in it because of the presence of Chetan the self? Yes. Just as when the sun comes up, people's restlessness increases, and when it goes down, people's restlessness decreases in the night. All that happens in its presence. It has not told anyone to do anything. It has not ordered anyone to do anything. Similarly, in the presence of the soul, power Chetan is filled into the Prakruti. It is the power Chetana, energized self, not the main Chetan, the real self, the real knower. When the power goes away, that is the end of it. The body gets buried or dead. It will work as long as there is power in it. Hence, these three batteries of mind, speech and body are charged, which later discharge and get charged again. These continue to get charged in the presence of the soul, the self, Atma. So it is actually Jad, but it is a power Chetan, it is energized Chetan. We call it Jad, but only Jad does not do anything. There is power, energy of the presence of the self filled in it. Then these three batteries continue to discharge. Discharging of the power filled with batteries is called an effect. If you put some ice in a cup and lay it on the table, where does the water come from on the outside wall of that cup? You see water trickling down. Where does the water come from? There is ice in the cup, and therefore the moisture of the air condenses and forms water on the outside of the cup. You cannot see the moisture directly. It will be understood through the intellect. But people explain that all this has happened, so then one will understand that. But these elements, the tattvas, will not be understood. That is what has happened. How does it happen? Just as this condensation occurs through science, this Prakruti has arisen through science, Vignan. What people know is not Prakruti. It is something that has arisen. People believe that it is something that God created. They call it the divine play of God. If you take a steel glass and then you put ice pieces in it, outside condensation will happen, and slowly drops will form, and then also a trickle of water will come, and then it will flow. And if the slope of the table is slanting, then it will come on the floor, and then it will go all over the room. So one hasn't done anything. Nobody has done anything. This ice remains ice inside, of course. But you see, the water is there because of the cold and the heat and the differences in the temperature. You see, and the water is the original self, and you see then the condensation is the interaction, and therefore the interacting Prakriti, the interact. And if it gets heated, then it becomes water. If it gets frozen, then it becomes ice. And therefore, and if you continue to, you see, so automatically outside in the Jad there is this activity, sakriyata, natural activity is happening. But if you see, now if you heat that glass, a steel glass, then there will be bubbles will form inside, and the ice will melt. You see, and then there'll be steam. You see, so this is the pure science of the water, of condensation, heating, water forming, water vapors forming, etc. You see, all of this is, you see, so there is because that is prayoksha, means it is getting charged, everything is entering, and then it discharges and it gives the effect. The prayoksha means that it enters into the science of the Prakriti, and then power Chetan, and then it gets charged. The three batteries get charged, and then in the so supposing he has the intent that he wants to go to Calcutta from here, Ahmedabad, then you see, then in discharge, you see, this will happen. Then the circumstances of moving to Calcutta will happen when the space, time, and other energies come together, other elemental things get together. You see. Now, so externally the Prakriti has been formed, and it goes into its own auto activities. There is a causal activity Prakriti, and then there is the effect Prakriti, and then there is the power Chetan, that is the charging Chetan, and then it is only there is no power. There is no power during discharge. It is discharging. Just there is a generator. When you want to charge batteries, the rechargeable batteries, don't you have to generate, take the electricity to charge those batteries? You see, and when you unplug it, will they not automatically start discharging? You see. And so then the energy of the S capital self is not needed in discharge. The energy of the S capital self is only needed during the charging process. And the charging process happens due to the wrong belief that I am this, that has been charged. It has already been charged in front of you, it is discharging, but to believe that I am this is mine, I am doing it, therefore you're now plugging it in again and recharging it again. Discharge is power, and in discharge, it is only simply called power, and in charge it is called uh, uh, charge energy, charge Prakruti. In discharge, it is only just called the mechanical chetan or the mechanical self, whereas in charging, it is called charge Prakruti. Yeah. Through wrong belief, there is the ignorance energy that arises, and that ignorance energy charges it. And it charges through causes, and then it enters into Vyavasthit, and then the Vyavasthit gives the effect, you see. And so in this charge, the soul is simply present only. But he believes, and if it does not become tanmayaka, does not become engrossed with what is discharging, does not believe that this is happening to me. If it does, see, when you eat something, actually the eater is eating, but you say, I'm eating, and therefore you become engrossed in the eating. You become one with the eater, and therefore you see, that is that is all happening in discharge, whereas but after the Gnanvidhi, of course, no charging happens. But when there is no awakening to the self, then he really believes that I am the Prakruti, I am. And so with the awakened self, of course, he is able to remain the knower-seer, and also know that the Prakruti, the non-self, is now discharging. Yes, his existence is there even in discharge only, but now, the hair are there on our head. Do we have to do anything to make this hair grow or to change color from black hair into white hair? You see, a certain discharge is such that it is happening itself on its own. It is automatically happening. It is beyond our control. The breaths that are going in, the heart that is beating, the autonomic nervous system, the autonomic system in our body, the autonomic biology, that is happening its own. You see what is happening. If you do not become the doer enough, and if you remain the knower, then then the Prakriti will be as it is. And so why don't you just see the Prakriti as it is unfolding and discharging, you see? And I have made you the pure soul, says Gnani Purush Dadashri. I have made you Vishuddhatma. Is it because charging that it is called power Chetan? He is a bricklayer, but he now says, no, I would like to become this a lawyer in my next life, like this boss guy whose home I'm building. And therefore, he'll end up as a lawyer, and because now he has the knowledge of how to plead in the courts, you see. But it is the Vibhavik Gnan. It is actually, he has the knowledge of the lawyer, but it is the distorted knowledge, Vibhavik knowledge of the soul only, you see. It is the energy of the knowledge of the soul only, the original self only. Not the original self, of the worldly, of the pure soul only. However, it becomes distorted. And therefore, at the relative level, he becomes a doctor, a surgeon, a yoga teacher, whatever, what have you, etc. And so, he may have the knowledge of how to shave, but you see, but if he does not have a blade, will he be able to shave? You see, so even though he may have the knowledge of how to shave, if he does not have the razor blade, he will not be able to shave. So the timing and the space and the meeting of the other five elements, space, time, motion, energy, and the razor blade, all have to come together in front of the one who is the knower of the knowledge of the shaving, the soul, that the activity of the shaving will happen. This is Nischetan Chetan is the discharge. That which was charged is now discharging. Nischetan Chetan. We see? And it has Nischetan Chetan, it has got its knowledge. But what knowledge? Then it is the discharging knowledge. You know how to cook the food, you know how to do your surgery, you know how to do your yoga, teaching, etc. Means every activity has its own underlying knowledge, and that knowledge is relative knowledge. It is called mechanical Chetan, you see, or Nischetan Chetan, or the power or discharge Chetan, you see, or Mish. But you see, even in discharge, Dada has used the word Chetan, but in our Aptavani, of the Prakruti that is in front of you, the Prakruti iBook, that is now, you will notice that is a small c, not the big C. The small c means it is the discharging Chetan, it is not the real Chetan of the S capital self only, you see. No. Actually, it's the Prakruti that is doing it, but one believes that I am doing it. When we get up in the morning, you say that I want to drink tea. It is the demand of the Prakruti only. The Prakruti wants a cup of coffee. The Prakruti makes the coffee. You see? You say, is it the Chetan? No, it is scientific circumstantial evidence. The activity of the Prakruti is dependent on scientific circumstantial evidences, you see? And then if supposing the coffee is missing, you forgot to buy the coffee last night, we'll not be able to make coffee, will you? It is only on the basis of the power that you'll be able to charge the 3 batteries, right? It is also the power. You see, when you say I am doing it, when there is the body, I am is fine. But when you say I am this body, when you say I am Eunice, therefore you have interfered. Now you are charging the new Prakriti. You are plugging the last life's Prakruti by giving it more power by saying this, I am this body, I am doing it. You see? And then with the view and the intent, if you say, I am going to make sure that everybody gets the best Akram Vignan in Brazil, therefore now that is your new view. You see? Are you the doer or is it happening as the resultant Prakruti only? You are the pure knower, seer of the Prakruti only, you see? And then when things don't happen according to your plans, then you get disturbed, you see? And that is also part of the Prakruti. So this is all that was charged in the last life, is discharging the Prakruti of Eunice in Brazil in this life, you see? You see, it is. He is only repeating the questions that we have just gone over, and it has been clearly explained. You see, this is called the false imposition soul, Mishra Chetan, Power Chetan, Vyavaratma. You see, all of those. The Power Chetan. You see, it's a power that is giving us the effect. Once the power leaves this body, you see, automatically due to the presence of the self, you see, the thoughts are already happening in discharge. You see. You see, the power chetan has been taken over. It has been unplugged. The Prakruti has been unplugged in the Gnan Vidhi, and therefore nothing new is happening. Only the old Prakruti will unfold depending upon what was filled in it in the previous life. When the wrong belief is still prevailing after the Gnan Vidhi, it is also there. That is all in the. It is the filled power only, that energized power. If you do not interfere, it will give its effect and then move away. It is due to lack of awareness called Jagruti, small a, and J capital Jagruti. Due to Jagruti, unawareness of who am I and who is the doer, one interference, and then there is a sense of intense I-ness. I am Eunice. I'm in charge of this, you see, and therefore there is the sense of residual interference. You talked about belief Chetan. Belief Chetan means I believe that I am this body. Belief below belief Chetan is otherwise known as Vibhav. There is the Vibhav means, you see, this view that I am this body when you are actually not this body. That is the belief Chetan. You see, because you believe that, because the C, it is belief, small b, and Chetan is C capital. You see, and that is the beginning of the Karan Prakruti or the causal Prakruti. And then so that is, and then, but then he moves forward into Vibhav, that not only I'm this body, but I also have to have it this way. This is mine, and then this is I am this, you see. And then so then the causal body starts forming, and then anger, pride, deceit, and greed start happening, you see. And in the belief, the moment you belief Chetan means that is the beginning of Mishra Chetan, you see. Because from 1 to 299, which is by 300 degrees, you get the Gnan Vidhi. So 1 to 299 degrees, this is all the belief Chetan only. That is the Prakruti in formation, you see, and then it gives its effect. Now heading what? Who is the doer of Prakruti? Very important question. Questioner says, I am asking this to understand even more that who gives Prakruti the power of doing? Ultimately, who gives the Prakruti the power of doing? Ultimately, it has arisen from the matter, Jad. Has it not? Dadashri says, no, Prakruti is not completely Jad. It is Nishchetan Chetan, lifeless life, inanimate consciousness. You see, and Nishchetan Chetan is not a Chetan, inanimate matter. There is a difference between Nishchetan. can it be considered ever changing? Dadashri says it is ever changing, but it is nischetan chetan. Questioner, what kind of energy, Shakti, can nischetan chetan be called? Dadashri says nischetan chetan means that it is discharged chetan, small c. You see, if you charge anything, it will not continue to charge. Will it not continue to discharge on its own? Do you, Y capital, the awakened one, have to do anything in it? Its activity will happen and so on. No one has to do anything in it. Therefore, this is all a discharge, an effect, and I call this effective energy or nischetan chetan. Although there is no chetan, S capital self, in the effective energy, it looks like chetan, C capital, right? The soul, the knower, and that is why I call it nischetan chetan, small c in the nischetan chetan. You see, supposing one has, supposing there's a good teacher, then you say, oh, go to this teacher because he teaches well, the other teacher does not teach well. He has the knowledge of how to teach. Therefore, he starts consider somebody superior, somebody inferior. He has the knowledge at the subtlest level. He knows he has got the G capital, so correction, the small G level Gnan, knowledge of what is right and whatever. That is all. That all nischetan chetan, that belongs to the intellect. You see, and depending on how it was charged, the intellect will discharge too. And then, if he is interfering a lot in this life through the intellect, he will make very heavy decisions. I do not want to interfere with my intellect. I do not want to interfere with my intellect. But it is actually, we say, nischetan chetan is, and what kind of a worldly person I want to become. I want to become a neurosurgeon. I want to become a photographer. I want to become a dancer. I want to become a movie actor, etc. You see. And so this is all. Gnani calls it the mixed chetan only, and Gnani calls it part of the Prakruti only, you see. Nischetan chetan means, which part is it called, the nischetan chetan? The other says, through do extra intention, mechanical chetan and Pudgal also arose. Through wrong belief, mechanical chetan arose. This and the intellect, chit, ego, the intellect, chit, and ego, everything goes into mechanical chetan. And then there is the filling and emptying that happens in the body complex on the physical. That is called the Pudgal, you see. And the Pudgal is there is the physical body, and so Mishra Chetan is happening with the complex of this ego intellect complex, you see. And then there's peripheral physical body, you see. This is all the Mishra Chetan, and then it gives into discharge. This mechanical Chetan here is actually, because Chit is mechanical Chetan, whereas, and all the peripheral physical body activities of the eating and eliminating is just the activities of the Prakruti of the body only. It is actually the Prakruti of Chandubai, it is the Prakruti of Uve, it is the Prakruti of Nada. It is not your Prakruti, and therefore Nada's Prakruti is like this. And it is too. It is the subtle Prakruti which is associated with this Kashais and the in discharge, and the gross Prakruti which is just the Purangalan, which is the filling and emptying, the intake and the elimination, the physical activities of sleeping, eating, etc. See, initially he has this knowledge that this is the knowledge, you see, and then the activity arises, and then so first there is the knowledge, and then there is the activity, and then he says, oh, I liked it or I did not like it, and then there's with the exception of the mood chetan, the absolute self, the pure soul, everything else is Prakruti only. This is the Mangaldasa's activity is Pudgal, and Mangaldasa's knowledge, and the bhaav is the middleman with this Kashai complexes, is all part of the mechanical Chetan, you see. So all this knowledge that is happening, the right and the good, it is the Prakruti belongs to the ego. If you want to understand, this entire Prakruti belongs to the ego. Believes I am dimple, the ego believes I am Uve, the ego believes I am Nada. And so this Prakruti belongs to the owner of the Prakruti. The ego is the owner of the Prakruti, you see. Exactly. And they see, then this ego then there does further work depending on its intellect. So And the Mangal Das means that is the filling, and that cannot be changed. That's the flesh body complex. And the bhavo is changeable. The middleman, the one with the ego intellect and kashai complex is the bhavo. And you see, so we are changing the opinions of the bhavo only, the middleman, the ego intellect complex of the Prakruti through the knowledge. You see, this is the ignorant bhavo. You see, this is the Prakruti. Prakruti is Gnani bhava, is the awakened self. You see. Okay. So until at the level of 359 degrees, it remains as the Gnani Bhavo. And then you see, then at 360 degrees, the Bhavo, the middleman, Bhavo disappears, and there is purely the Prakruti and the pure absolute self only that remains, you see. This is the variable Prakruti, you see. There is the unchanging, the discharging Prakruti has two components, that which cannot be changed and that which is variable and changing depending upon. So we cannot change the design, but we can divide it through the 9 columns. You see, the 9 columns is the divisive factor. That which was multiplied through wrong knowledge is being divided through the 9 columns. You see, through the Pratikraman Pratyakyan, which is the essence of the 9 columns. We do not change the peripheral Pudgal at all. You see, the Pudgal, which is the eating, sleeping, this is the Samaisar. Yes, but the essence of time, you see, and this is the science of Samaisar, which is exactly where, how can we change the science? How whether we can understand, we can change the bhavo. The bhavo that was in ignorance can be changed over to the one with knowledge, you see. Now the questioner, is there any power of doing doership in the Prakruti? Darshi says yes, that is the nature of Prakruti. Doership is not in the state of the self, nijswarupa. The self is akriya, not connected with any activity. Charge, Pudgal, non-self complex, parmanus, subatomic, that are in a Prakruti, they are active, kriyavan, and they are sakriya with activity. Everything is going the wrong way because of not understanding this. If one understands who is the doer, then there is the final solution. Otherwise, there is no final solution at all. Pudgal is not a living thing on page 8 on Gujarati, but it requires the extra intent of the self, and Pudgal is formed accordingly. So change occurs in it too. The self does not have to do anything. Vishesha bhaav of the self arises, which attracts the parmanus, the subatomic particles, and it automatically becomes a form or murta, and then it continues to carry out its work. You see this condensation outside the steel glass with ice pieces, that is the Jharjatva, the condenses, and then there is water happening, and then water flows out. And so that is the external sakriya activity of the subatomic particles of the non-self complex only, the Jhard parmanus, you see. The matter, you see, you are separate. You see, in other words, you are totally separate. The ice inside is totally separate from that which is happening inside. The external water is the Prakruti, the ice is the soul, you see. And the soul, the ice does not have to do anything to create condensation outside on the surface of the steel glass. It happens. The subatomic particles automatically get pulled, and therefore there is condensation outside. This is an amazing discovery of Dada, magnificent. And he has seen it, experienced it, and then was able to bring it in words and share it with all of us. There is no need for a doer in this world, where whatever things that are there in this world, they are constantly changing. And because of their Vishesh bhaav, they keep changing. And that Vishesh bhaav, they keep changing, and everything appears anew. If one understands only this much, then there is a solution. The self is akriya. The self is akriya, not connected with any activity. It is being made with kriya. It is being made kriya by saying, I did this. And Prakruti is sakriya with activity, which people call it Jhad, you see. Now, he's opening up his iPad now, the Gnani. Now, this is totally blank. You see, the iPad is blank. And my location of only the finger just touches the surface of the iPad, you see. Now, you see, he has turned off the iPad. Now, he has gone into this writing manner, and then it writes something. Now, do you see? But, he can't see. I remain in my own, but however, it changes. It doesn't. But in the iPad it gets printed. I'm not doing anything. I remain where I am. However, I'm printing something in the iPad, and I annotate. I'm making lines and I annotate of the iPad. You see, nothing is happening in the I, but I remain in my. There's a binary code in computer 0101. You see. So 0101. You touch it and you remove it. So every time you touch it you like it, every time you don't touch it you dislike it, and therefore 0101, you see, like dislike happens, bhaav abhav. And you see, my knowledge is the one that is making it happen. And you see, my knowledge is Mr. Chetan, and this is Nishchetan Chetan, and then it goes into the Pudgal, and then goes into, and then there is anant Pudgals that happen, infinite Pudgals continue to happen. You see, so now you'll say that, whatever you write, you see, whatever is posted, by Shuddha in Facebook goes to thousands of people, because it goes, you see, but only the fingers of Shuddha moved on the iPad or on the keyboards only. This is how it is. You see, and then subsequently here, here you can print and you can actually draw a person on the iPad through the knowledge that you have. You only have the knowledge, and depending on, but in the Parkshetra means the iPad, the first location, whereas Swaskshetra means I am the pure soul. You see, this is these are the material. This all of these things that we have in front of us, the material things, they also follow the science of the incontrovertible science also. So they can understand the real and the relative. You see this, my knowledge is real, and my interaction in the relative creates strokes, and in the computer, which then ultimately Dadashri used the word computer, you see, for computer, even when computer was not discovered, you see, were discovered. And the Dadashri calls Vyavasthi Sakti is a giant computer, you see. And so Dada has joined the current science and the physical sciences along with the spiritual sciences. Now, let us take a break now. Gnani Bhavo, I am the Gnani, and therefore the one who says I am Chandu and that is the Mr. Chetan, you see. And this is, my ego is spoiled, my ego is heavy, my ego is light, etc. You see, it is this, he at the level of the subtler sukshmatar ego, he believes this whole Prakruti to be mine, but now we have, and this is the sukshmatar and sukshma, and gross belongs to the Prakruti, whereas the sukshmatam ego has been separated, and therefore you have become the pure soul, and therefore you become separate from the Prakruti. Let us take a break now here. And so So this is the break now, and when to recapitulate, to remind, this is the Parishan Parayan of the 11th of September 2015. This is the first pre-break session of the evening that has just finished, and we have gone on page 45 of the Prakruti iBook, and people are taking a break. It'll be about a 10-minute break, and we are going to now stop this broadcast on Zoom, and then carry on with the question answer session in this next broadcast as part 2 of the evening of September 11th. She is singing in a special style of Saurashtra singing. The words simply say that every second of your life is worth a million seconds. So therefore worships Lord Simandar by accepting the words of Gnani Purush Dadashri.